The text came at 6:47 p.m., right as I was applying lipstick in my car outside La Bella Vista. So sorry, Mom. Dinner's canceled. Emergency with the kids. Rain check? My hands froze. Jennifer never apologized. Never said sorry unless she wanted something. I stared at that message, my gut twisting into knots. The kids, my grandchildren, were they okay? I started to call, then stopped. Something felt wrong. Off. Like when you know someone's lying but can't prove it yet. I should have driven home. Should have trusted my daughter-in-law for once. Instead, I got out of the car. The restaurant door was heavy, the kind that makes you feel underdressed even when you're not. I'd picked La Bella Vista for tonight, our monthly family dinner, the one tradition I'd managed to keep alive since my husband died, since Marcus got married, since everything changed. The hostess smiled at me. "Good evening. Do you have a reservation?" "Yes, under." That's when I saw them. Corner table, candlelight. My son and his wife, leaning close like newlyweds, champagne flutes raised in a toast. My vision blurred, the room tilted. "Ma'am, are you all right?" I couldn't answer, couldn't breathe, because Marcus was laughing that full-body laugh I hadn't heard in months, and Jennifer was touching his face, her hand gentle, loving. They looked happy. Without me. I stood there in the doorway, frozen like an idiot, my purse clutched against my chest. 30 years. 30 years I'd been Marcus's mother. I'd raised him alone after his father walked out, worked double shifts to pay for his college, co-signed his first apartment, his car, his wedding. I'd given them that credit card 3 months ago when Marcus lost his job. "Just for emergencies, Mom, I promise, we'll pay you back." And now here they were, celebrating. The waiter approached their table, tall and professional, carrying a small leather folder. The check. He placed it on the table between them, smiled, and walked away. Jennifer reached for it first. I watched her open the folder, watched her pull out the receipt. And even from across the room, even through the dim romantic lighting and the 20 feet between us, I could see my credit card number printed at the bottom. The emergency card. My feet moved before my brain caught up. I walked through the restaurant like a ghost, weaving between tables of happy couples and families. No one noticed me. No one ever did anymore, just another older woman, invisible in a world that worships youth. But Jennifer noticed. Her eyes lifted from the receipt, and for one perfect frozen second, our gazes locked. I watched the color drain from her face, watched her mouth form a small, shocked O. The champagne glass slipped from her hand. It fell in slow motion, crystal catching candlelight, golden liquid spilling like liquid gold, and shattered against the white tablecloth with a sound that made every head in the restaurant turn. "Oh my God," Jennifer gasped, jumping up. "I'm so sorry, But she wasn't looking at the waiter rushing over with a towel. She was looking at me. And then I saw it, really saw it. Her wrist. A diamond bracelet, delicate and expensive, catching the light with every movement. I'd never seen it before, never heard her mention wanting one. My eyes traveled down. New dress. Designer, if I had to guess. The kind that costs more than my monthly mortgage. Marcus's jacket, hanging on his chair. Tailored. New. How much had they spent tonight? 200? 3? How much had they spent on me? "Mom." Marcus's voice cut through the fog. He was standing now, his napkin falling to the floor. He didn't look surprised to see me. He looked annoyed. "What are you doing here?" he asked, and his tone His tone was the same one he'd used as a teenager when I'd embarrassed him in front of his friends. My voice came out hoarse, broken. "You said there was an emergency, with the kids." Jennifer's hand flew to her mouth. "Oh no, did I say that? I meant what I meant was, where are the kids?" I asked. Silence. The waiter hovered nearby, uncertain whether to clean the spilled champagne or give us privacy. Other diners were staring now, probably wondering if they were about to witness a scene. They were. "They're at my mom's," Jennifer finally said. "They're fine. Totally fine. So there's no emergency." "Well, no, but..." "Then why did you cancel on me?" More silence. Jennifer looked at Marcus. Marcus looked at his shoes. And suddenly I understood. They'd never planned to include me tonight. This was their dinner, their celebration. They'd used my table reservation, the one I'd made weeks ago, the one I'd been looking forward to all month, and they'd lied to get rid of me. We needed a night alone, Marcus said finally, and at least he had the decency to sound defensive. Jennifer's been stressed with the kids, and I just wanted to do something nice for her. Is that so wrong? With my credit card? The words came out louder than I'd intended. A woman at the next table looked over, eyes wide. Jennifer's face flushed. It's not like that. We were going to pay you back. When? Soon. How soon? Because I'd love to know when soon is, considering you've been using that card for 3 months and I haven't seen a dime. Marcus stepped forward, his jaw tight. Can we not do this here? Why not? You had no problem celebrating here. On my dime. Jesus, Mom. He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture so familiar it made my chest ache. You gave us that card for emergencies. You said to use it when we needed it. Champagne and lobster is an emergency? No, but, Jennifer cut in, her voice rising. But maybe we deserved one nice night after everything we've been through. Maybe we deserved to feel normal for once instead of… She stopped, bit her lip. Instead of what? I asked quietly. Instead of being reminded that you're living off your mother-in-law, I thought. Instead of admitting you can't take care of yourselves. The waiter cleared his throat. Should I give you folks a moment? No, Jennifer said quickly. She grabbed her purse, new, I noticed, leather and expensive, and pulled out a tissue, dabbing at her eyes. When had she started crying? We were just leaving. She whispered something to Marcus. Something low and urgent that I couldn't hear. Marcus's face changed, hardened. He turned to look at me, and for a second, just a second, I thought I'd see my son. The boy who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms. The teenager who'd cried in my arms when his first girlfriend broke his heart. The young man who'd asked me to dance at his wedding. But that's not what I saw. I saw cold calculation, the same look his father had given me the day he left. The look that said, "You're in my way." We need to talk, Marcus said slowly. But not here. Jennifer touched his arm. Tell her now. Before she… Not here, he repeated, sharper this time. Tell me what? My heart was racing. My hands were shaking. Around us, the restaurant had gone back to normal, conversations resuming, forks clinking against plates, but I felt like I was drowning. Tell me what? I demanded. Marcus picked up the check folder, tucked my credit card back inside his wallet, like it belonged to him now. There's something you need to know, he said. Something we've been meaning to tell you. Jennifer's hand went to her stomach. And just like that, I knew. Marcus smoothed down his jacket, that beautiful charcoal blazer with the silk lining, and suddenly I remembered. Goodwill, I said. My voice sounded distant, hollow. You told me that jacket was from Goodwill. He froze. Just for a second. Then that smile appeared, practiced, perfect, the one he'd learned from his father. Mom, let's not do this here. How much did it cost? That's not… How much? He exhaled through his nose. 400. But it was on sale, and I needed something nice for job interviews. Job interviews, I laughed, and it came out sharp, bitter. How many interviews have you had, Marcus? His jaw tightened. That's not fair. None, I said. You've had 0 interviews, because you're not looking. Jennifer appeared at his elbow, her hand gentle on his arm. The concerned wife. Marcus has been looking, Mom. It's just a tough market right now. You know that. Mom. She called me Mom like we were close, like she hadn't just lied to my face an hour ago. Don't. I stepped back. Don't call me that right now. The waiter had left the receipt on their table. I could see it from here, that little leather folder, innocuous and damning. I pushed past them. Mom, wait. I grabbed the receipt, opened it. $340.67. Appetizers, oysters, Rockefeller, $38. Lobster bisque for 2, $32. Entrees, filet mignon, $65. Branzino, $58. Sides, desserts. A bottle of champagne, the good kind, the kind I'd only ever ordered once, for my anniversary. My hands started shaking. But it wasn't the total that made my vision blur. It was the bottom of the receipt, the fine print. Previous balance: $22,847.93. $22,000. I'd given them a card with a $5,000 limit 3 months ago, for emergencies, for groceries and gas, and keeping the lights on while Marcus looked for work. How was the balance $22,000? I need to sit down, I whispered. Marcus reached for me, but I jerked away. My purse, where was my purse? There, on the floor. I grabbed it, fumbling for my phone. Mom, you're making a scene. Good. My fingers wouldn't work right. Too shaky. I dropped the phone once, twice, finally got it unlocked. Banking app, password. Come on, come on. The screen loaded. And my world ended. Transaction after transaction. Scrolling down, down, down. Nordstrom, $847.32. Blue Mercury Spa, $380. Restoration Hardware, $2,156.78. The Ritz-Carlton, $1,843.50. I stopped breathing. The Ritz-Carlton. 2 weeks ago, the same weekend Jennifer had posted on social media about a much-needed staycation to reconnect as a couple. I'd commented on that post. So happy you two are taking time for yourselves. You deserve it. 300 people had liked it. I'd paid for it. This can't be right, I heard myself say. This has to be fraud. Someone stole the card. Someone... Mom, Jennifer's voice, soft and soothing, the way you'd talk to a confused elderly person. She touched my arm. You're upset. I understand. But remember what you said when you gave us the card? I looked up at her. Really looked. Her makeup was flawless, professional, the kind you get at a department store counter. Her nails were done, gel manicure with tiny crystals. Her hair had fresh highlights. When had I last done any of that for myself? You said, Jennifer continued gently, that we should use it for quality of life expenses, remember? You said Marcus was under so much stress from losing his job, and that we shouldn't have to sacrifice our well-being just because of a temporary setback. Quality of life expenses, I repeated numbly. Exactly, she smiled. Relieved. So we did. We tried to be reasonable, but sometimes, you know how it is, sometimes you need a nice meal or a weekend away to keep your sanity. For your mental health. Mental health. She was using therapy language on me, making it sound like I'd be a monster to argue. $22,000, I said. Marcus shifted. It's not that much when you break it down monthly. It's more than I make in 6 months. Silence. A couple at the next table was openly staring now. The woman whispered something to her husband. He pulled out his phone, probably recording. Great. I'd be viral by morning. Crazy old lady confronts son in restaurant. Look, Marcus said, his voice dropping low, urgent. Can we please take this outside? You're embarrassing us. I'm embarrassing you? Yes. His face flushed. Everyone's staring. This is our favorite restaurant, and now, your favorite restaurant. The words tasted like ash, the one you can't afford, the one I'm paying for. You offered to help us. I offered to help with emergencies, with groceries and bills, and I scrolled further back in my banking app, my stomach churning. What the hell is this? Tiffany & Co., $3,400? Jennifer's hand went to her wrist, to that diamond bracelet. Our eyes met. That was Marcus's idea, she said quickly. For our anniversary, he wanted to do something special. With my money. With the card you gave us. Her voice hardened, just slightly. Just enough. The card you said we could use. You can't give someone a credit card and then get mad when they use it, Mom. That's not fair. Mom again. That word, weaponized. I gave you that card for food, I said. My voice was shaking now, tears threatening. For diapers, for keeping the electricity on. not for spa days and jewelry and... I stopped, scrolled back further. Pottery Barn Kids, $2,847.20. Bye Bye Baby, $1,392.16. Baby Gap, $847.93. Baby stuff, thousands of dollars in baby stuff. But Jennifer's youngest was 3. They didn't need. Oh God. I looked up. Jennifer's hand was still on her stomach. How far along? I whispered. Marcus stepped forward. Mom. How far along is she? Jennifer's eyes welled with tears. Real ones this time, I think. 12 weeks. 12 weeks. 3 months. The same amount of time they'd had my credit card. You've been spending my retirement money, I said slowly, to prepare for a baby you didn't tell me about. We were going to tell you, Marcus said. Tonight, actually. That's why we wanted to have a nice dinner, to celebrate before we shared the news. You canceled on me. Because we wanted it to be just us first, to process it as a couple before you asked me for more money. His face went red. That's not, we weren't going to. But Jennifer's hand tightened on his arm. A warning. And I knew. Of course I knew. They'd planned this whole thing, the romantic dinner, the big announcement, the emotional manipulation. We're having a baby, Mom, your grandchild. Surely you want to help us give them a good life? How much more would they have asked for? 10,000? 20? How much did they think I was worth? I'm canceling the card. My voice came out steady, cold. Tonight. The second I get home. Jennifer's face changed. The concern, the sweetness, it all dropped away like a mask. You can't do that, she said. Watch me. We have expenses, bills. We budgeted around having that card. Then you budgeted wrong. Marcus grabbed my arm. Mom, please. Be reasonable. We can figure this out. We can make a payment plan. A payment plan? I almost laughed. With what money, Marcus? You don't have a job. I'm looking. No, you're not. I pulled my arm free. You're spending my money and lying about it and using your pregnant wife as a shield, just like your father. The second the words left my mouth, I regretted them. Marcus's face went white, then red, then something worse, empty. Don't you dare, he said quietly, compare me to him. Then stop acting like him. The restaurant manager appeared. Tall, silver-haired professional concern plastered across his face. Is everything all right here? He asked, looking between us. Fine, Jennifer said quickly. Just a family disagreement. We're leaving. But as she turned to grab her purse, she stumbled. Just a little. Her hand flew to her stomach. Oh, she gasped. Oh no. Marcus caught her. Baby, what's wrong? I don't know. It's the cramping. It's getting worse. She looked up at him, her eyes wide, frightened. Marcus, what if the stress... And just like that, I was the villain again. The manager stepped forward. Should I call an ambulance? No, Jennifer said, but she leaned heavily against Marcus. No, we need to get to the hospital, now. Marcus looked at me. His eyes were hard, accusing. Tell her now, Jennifer whispered to him. Before she makes this worse. Tell me what? I demanded. But Marcus just shook his head, supporting his wife toward the exit. We're going to the ER, he said over his shoulder. You can come or not, your choice. And then they were gone, leaving me standing alone in a restaurant full of strangers, my phone still open to a banking app showing 22,000 reasons why my son had become someone I didn't recognize. The waiter appeared with a broom to sweep up the broken champagne glass. Will you be staying for dinner, ma'am? He asked kindly. I looked down at my phone, at the charges, at the evidence of months of lies. No, I whispered. I don't think I will. The emergency room was too bright. Fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, that antiseptic smell burning my nostrils, and Jennifer sitting in a wheelchair looking pale and fragile while Marcus filled out paperwork at the reception desk. I'd followed them here. Of course I had. What else could I do? She's pregnant, possibly losing the baby. And no matter how angry I was, no matter how betrayed I felt, I couldn't just walk away from that, even if part of me wondered if this was another lie. Name? The receptionist asked. Jennifer Hayes. Marcus's hand shook as he wrote. My wife, she's 12 weeks pregnant and having cramping. 12 weeks. He said it like a fact, like something solid and real. But everything else had been a lie, so why should I believe this? I stood by the automatic doors, still clutching my purse, watching my son transform into the concerned husband. He kept looking back at Jennifer, his face creased with worry. Real worry, I think. Or maybe I just didn't know him anymore. The receptionist handed Marcus a clipboard. Insurance information? He hesitated. We're in between policies right now. In between. That was a nice way of saying they'd let their insurance lapse. Probably couldn't afford the premiums. Not when they were too busy buying diamond bracelets and staying at the Ritz. That's fine, the receptionist said kindly. We can set up a payment plan. Just fill out these forms. Payment plan? With what money? My money, I realized. They'd expect me to pay for this too. A nurse appeared with a wheelchair. Jennifer already had one, but apparently they needed to move her to triage. Marcus abandoned the paperwork and rushed to her side. I'm scared, Jennifer whispered, loud enough for everyone in the waiting room to hear. What if we lose the baby? We won't, Marcus said. You're going to be fine. The baby's going to be fine. He kissed her forehead, and something in my chest cracked. I remembered when he used to kiss me like that, when I was his whole world. Before he grew up, got married, decided his mother was just an ATM with feelings. The nurse wheeled Jennifer toward the double doors. Marcus started to follow, then stopped, turned back. Are you coming? He asked me. Not, Mom. Just a question. Flat. Emotionless. Do you want me to? I asked. He didn't answer. Just turned and walked through those doors, leaving me alone in a waiting room full of sick people and bad news. I should have left. Should have gone home, canceled that credit card, and let them figure out their own mess. Instead, I sat down in a plastic chair that smelled like disinfectant and pulled out my phone. The banking app was still open. I scrolled through the charges again, this time looking for patterns, dates, frequencies. They'd been smart about it at first. Small charges, 50 here, 80 there. Groceries at Whole Foods instead of Safeway. Gas at the expensive station. Things I wouldn't question. But then, about 6 weeks ago, the charges got bigger, bolder. Nordstrom, $847.32. Jennifer's new wardrobe, probably. The dress she'd worn tonight. Restoration Hardware, $2,156.78. Furniture? For what? They were renting a small 2-bedroom house. Unless. I pulled up my browser, searched for Restoration Hardware nursery furniture. The top result was a crib. White, modern, convertible, $1,400. My throat tightened. They'd been preparing for this baby for weeks, buying everything, planning everything, and they hadn't told me because they knew I'd ask questions. I'd want to know how they could afford a baby when they couldn't afford groceries. The answer was simple. They couldn't. I was supposed to afford it for them. Ma'am? I looked up. A nurse stood in front of me, young and tired-looking. Are you here with Jennifer Hayes? Yes, I'm her. What was I? Not her mother? Not her friend? I'm her mother-in-law. The nurse nodded. She's asking for you. That surprised me. She is? Yes. Room 4. Through those doors. I stood, my legs stiff from sitting, from stress, from being 62 years old and suddenly realizing I'd been played for a fool by my own son. The doors buzzed. I pushed through. Room 4 was small and sterile. Jennifer lay on a hospital bed in a gown, an IV in her arm, monitors beeping softly. Marcus sat beside her, holding her hand. They both looked up when I entered. Mom, Jennifer said, and this time her voice cracked. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't move from the doorway. For what? For the restaurant. For everything. I know you're angry. Angry doesn't begin to cover it. Marcus stood up. Mom, she's in the hospital. Can we not? No, Jennifer interrupted. She deserves to know the truth. All of it. The room went quiet, just the beeping of monitors and my heart pounding in my ears. What truth? I asked slowly. Jennifer's hand went to her stomach. I'm not 12 weeks pregnant. The floor tilted. What? I'm 18 weeks. She said it quickly, like ripping off a Band-Aid. I lied. I've been lying to everyone, my friends, my family, Marcus. Wait. Marcus dropped her hand. What? Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to tell you. I found out before you lost your job, and I panicked. And then everything fell apart, and I thought if I told you later, when things were better. You've been pregnant for 4.5 months? Marcus's voice was rising. And you didn't tell me? I was scared. Of what? Of this. She gestured around the room. Of you being stressed and angry and us not being able to afford it and your mother thinking I trapped you. I don't think you trapped him, I said quietly. They both looked at me. I think you trapped me. Silence, heavy and thick. Jennifer's face crumpled. That's not fair. Isn't it? I walked further into the room. You got pregnant before Marcus lost his job, which means you knew you'd need money. And instead of telling us, instead of planning, you waited until you had your hooks in good and deep. That's not. Then you convinced Marcus to ask me for help, the emergency credit card. Just for groceries, Mom, just until I find work. I looked at my son. Did you even lose your job? Or was that part of the plan too? Marcus's face went white. Of course I lost my job. You think I'd lie about that? I don't know what to think anymore. Jesus Christ, Mom. I got laid off. 15 people from my department, all at once. It's been hell trying to find something new. Have you been trying? I pulled out my phone, shoved it in his face. Because according to this, you've been pretty busy. Spa days, shopping sprees, hotels. He stared at the screen, at the charges, at the evidence of weeks of deception. I can explain. Then explain the job search. I pulled up my browser history, the one where I'd been secretly checking LinkedIn for his activity. Nothing. No posts, no applications, no network updates in 3 months. Explain why your profile says you're taking time to explore new opportunities instead of actively seeking employment. His jaw clenched. I needed a break. A $22,000 break. It wasn't supposed to be that much. He exploded, shouting now. We were going to pay you back. We had a plan. What plan? What possible plan involves spending money you don't have? We were going to sell the house. Everything stopped. What house? I whispered. Marcus wouldn't meet my eyes. Our rental, the landlord offered to sell it to us. Below market value. We were going to buy it, flip it, make enough to pay you back with interest. You were going to buy a house? Without jobs? Without savings? The landlord was willing to do owner financing. With what down payment, Marcus? Where were you going to get? And then I knew. I knew before he said it. We were going to ask you, he admitted, for a loan, $50,000 for the down payment. The house would have been worth twice that after renovations, so it was a good investment, and you were going to ask me for $50,000. He nodded miserably. I laughed. Actually laughed, high and hysterical. You stole $22,000 and were planning to ask for 50 more? It wasn't stealing. You gave us the card. For emergencies. This is an emergency! Jennifer shouted from the bed. I'm pregnant. Marcus doesn't have a job. We're about to be homeless. Homeless? I turned to her. What are you talking about? She bit her lip, looked at Marcus. Tell her, she whispered. Tell her the rest. Marcus closed his eyes. We're being evicted. The room spun. What? The landlord. He's selling the house, but not to us anymore. He found another buyer. Someone paying cash. We have 30 days to get out. But you said you told me the rent was $1,400 a month. It's $2,800. His voice was small, ashamed. We lied about that too. I sat down hard on the visitor's chair. My legs wouldn't hold me anymore. So let me get this straight. I said slowly. You've been lying about your rent, lying about job hunting, lying about the pregnancy timeline, stealing from me, and planning to ask for $50,000 more. Neither of them answered. And now you're being evicted, and Jennifer's in the hospital, and you need me to what? Pay for this too? Pay for everything forever? We're family, Jennifer said desperately. Family helps each other. Family doesn't lie to each other. My voice cracked. Family doesn't steal and manipulate and… My phone buzzed. I looked down. A text from my bank. Fraud alert. Unusual activity detected. $2,800 payment to Morrison Property Management. Authorize, I.N. Morrison Property Management. Their landlord. I looked up at Marcus. Did you just try to pay your rent with my credit card? His face said everything. We're 2 months behind, Jennifer whispered. If we don't pay by midnight, we're out. On the street, with nowhere to go. You have family, I said coldly. Call them. My parents are in Arizona. Then go to Arizona. I can't travel. I'm high risk, the doctor said. She stopped. Her face went gray. Oh God, she gasped. Oh God, it hurts. The monitor started beeping faster. Marcus jumped up, hit the call button. What's wrong? Baby, what's wrong? The cramping, it's worse, Marcus, I think. A nurse burst through the door, then another. They moved fast, checking monitors, asking questions. We need to do an ultrasound, one of them said. Right now. They wheeled the whole bed out, Jennifer crying, Marcus following. At the door, he turned back to me. I know you hate me right now, he said. But please, stay. She needs, we need. What you need, I said quietly, is to grow up. His face crumbled. Then he was gone, following his wife down the hallway. And I was alone again. Alone with my phone still showing that fraud alert. $2,800, 2 months' rent, probably their last chance. My finger hovered over the N button. One tap, and they'd be on their own. Really, truly on their own. One tap, and I'd finally have boundaries, finally stop being used. One tap. I didn't press the button. I sat there in that empty hospital room, staring at my phone, my finger frozen over N for deny, and I couldn't do it. Because what if Jennifer really was losing the baby? What if the stress, my confrontation, the fight, all of it, what if I was the reason? I'd never forgive myself. So I pressed Y for yes, authorized the payment, watched my bank balance drop another $2,800. $25,000 now. $25,000 of my dead husband's life insurance, the money that was supposed to last me through retirement, through the lonely years ahead. Gone. The waiting room was fuller now. A kid with a broken arm, an elderly man coughing into a handkerchief, a young couple arguing in whispers about whose fault it was they were here. I found a seat in the corner, away from everyone, and opened my banking app again. This time I went further back. 6 months. A year. Looking for the pattern I'd missed. And there it was. Small charges to Jennifer's name. Venmo requests Marcus had paid. For groceries, the note said. For gas. For the kids' school supplies. Except I'd been buying the kids' school supplies. I'd been taking them shopping every August, letting them pick out backpacks and lunchboxes and new shoes. So where had that money really gone? I clicked on Jennifer's Venmo profile. It was public, because of course it was. She loved social media, loved posting her perfect life for everyone to see. Her transaction history painted a different picture. Payments to boutiques, to salons, to a personal trainer named Brad Fit with heart emojis. My stomach turned. How long had this been going on? How long had they been using me? Ma'am? I looked up. A different nurse this time. Older, with kind eyes. Yes? Your daughter-in-law is in ultrasound now. The doctor wanted me to let you know she's stable. Baby's heartbeat is strong. Relief flooded through me, followed immediately by anger at myself for feeling relieved. Thank you, I managed. The nurse hesitated. Are you all right? Can I get you some water? I'm fine. You don't look fine, honey. She sat down beside me, uninvited. Family drama? I almost laughed. Something like that. Want to talk about it? Not really. She nodded, but didn't leave. Just sat there, comfortable with silence. After a minute, she said, I've been a nurse for 37 years. You know what I've learned? What? People don't end up in the ER by accident. Not really. Something always leads them here. A choice, a lie, a moment they could have turned back but didn't. I looked at her. What are you saying? I'm saying your daughter-in-law isn't here because of bad luck. She patted my hand. And neither are you. Then she stood and walked away, leaving me with that thought. Marcus appeared 20 minutes later. He looked exhausted, hollowed out. He collapsed into the chair beside me without speaking. We sat in silence for a long time. Finally, I asked, How is she? Okay. The baby's okay. His voice was flat. Doctor said the cramping was stress-related, not an actual miscarriage risk. She needs to stay calm, avoid conflict. Avoid conflict, meaning avoid me. They want to keep her overnight for observation, he continued. Make sure everything's stable. Overnight? I thought of the hospital bills, the thousands this would cost. Marcus, do you even realize? I know, he cut me off. I know, okay? I know how much this costs. I know how much everything costs. Then why? Because I'm trying. He turned to me, eyes red. I'm trying so hard, Mom, and it's never enough. I send out resumes every day, and nobody calls back. I go to interviews, and they pick someone younger, someone cheaper. I'm 41 years old, and nobody wants me. My heart cracked a little. Just a little. So you decided to spend my money instead? I decided to keep my family afloat. He laughed bitterly. You know what Jennifer said to me in that ultrasound room? She said, At least your mom's credit card works, even if you don't. I went cold. She said that? She's scared, Mom. We're losing everything. The house, our savings. What savings? You just told me you're 2 months behind on rent. He wouldn't look at me. We had savings. When I first got laid off, we had about $8,000 saved up. Where is it? Silence. Marcus, where's the $8,000? Jennifer's sister. I closed my eyes. Of course. She was in trouble. Real trouble. Some guys in Arizona, they were threatening her, and Jennifer couldn't just let her. So you sent her $8,000? 7,000. The rest went to bills. And you didn't think to tell me this? Would you have understood? He finally looked at me. Would you have said, Oh yes, Marcus, definitely send your savings to your wife's gambling addict sister instead of paying rent? Her sister has a gambling problem? Had. She's in therapy now. We helped her. Isn't that what family does? I wanted to scream, to shake him, to make him see how insane this all was. Family, I said slowly, doesn't lie to each other. Family doesn't steal. Family doesn't. We didn't steal. You gave us that card. For emergencies. Everything is an emergency. His shout echoed through the waiting room. People stared. You don't get it, Mom. You're retired. You have your house paid off, your pension, Dad's life insurance. You're fine. But us? We're drowning. Every single day is a crisis. The kids need shoes, Jennifer needs prenatal vitamins, the car needs new tires. Then get a job. I'm trying. A security guard appeared. Sir, I'm going to need you to lower your voice. Marcus stood up, hands shaking. I need some air. He walked away, leaving me alone with the stares of strangers and the weight of everything unsaid. I gave him 5 minutes, then followed. I found him outside the ER entrance, sitting on a concrete barrier, head in his hands. For a moment, he looked like a little boy again, like the son who used to cry in my arms when the world was too much. I sat down beside him. I paid your rent, I said quietly. His head snapped up. What? The fraud alert. I authorized it. You have until the end of the month. Mom. But that's it. I looked at him, really looked at him. No more. I'm canceling the card tonight. Whatever you've ordered that hasn't shipped yet, cancel it. Whatever bills you've been planning to pay with my money, find another way. We can't. You have to. My voice was firm. Because I can't keep doing this, Marcus. I can't keep watching you lie to me. Use me. Treat me like an ATM instead of a person. That's not what we're doing. Then what do you call $25,000 in 3 months? He flinched. Is that what we're at? You didn't even know? I stopped looking. He rubbed his face. Jennifer handles the finances. She said she was keeping track, making sure we didn't go overboard. Jennifer bought a $3,000 bracelet. Silence. She what? I pulled up the charge on my phone, showed him. Tiffany, 3 weeks ago, the bracelet she was wearing tonight. He stared at the screen. She told me that was from her mom. Her mom who lives in Arizona, who she can't afford to visit? More silence. There's more, I said. I showed him everything. The furniture, the spa days, the hotel, the Venmo payments to Brad Pitt. With each charge, Marcus's face got paler. Who's Brad Pitt? He finally asked. You tell me. I don't. He grabbed my phone, scrolled through the payments. She's been paying him $200 a week for 6 months. That's almost $5,000. For what? We can't afford a gym membership, let alone a personal trainer. He stopped. His face went gray. What? I asked. Nothing. Marcus. I said nothing. He stood up, pacing. I need to talk to Jennifer. She's supposed to be resting. I don't care. He was already walking back inside. I need to know, I need to. He stopped at the automatic doors, turned back. Did you know? He asked. When you gave us that card, did you know we'd do this? No. My voice broke. I thought I was helping my son. You were. You are. His eyes were wet. I know it doesn't feel like it, but Mom, you saved us. You're still saving us. I'm enabling you. Maybe. He smiled sadly. But isn't that what mothers do? Then he went inside, leaving me with that question and the cold night air. I didn't follow him this time. I sat on that concrete barrier and pulled out my phone and did what I should have done 3 months ago. I called the credit card company. Thank you for calling. How can I help you today? I need to cancel a card, I said. Report it stolen. I can help with that. Can I have the card number? I read it off. The same number I'd memorized months ago, the number that was probably saved in every shopping app Jennifer owned. Okay, I see the account. Has there been fraudulent activity? I thought about that. Fraud. Technically, I'd given them permission. Technically, this was all my fault. Yes, I said anyway. Fraudulent activity. I want it canceled. Now. Absolutely. The card is now deactivated. You should receive a new card in. I don't want a new card. Oh, okay. Let me just, ma'am, I'm showing a balance of $25,147.93 on this account. How would you like to handle payment? $25,000. I'll pay it, I heard myself say. Monthly installments. We can set that up. Minimum payment would be $500 per month. $500 for the next 4 years. I was 62 years old. I'd planned to retire at 65. Now I'd be working until I was 66. That's fine, I whispered. Great. Is there anything else I can help you with today? No, thank you. I hung up. And then I cried. Right there on a concrete barrier outside a hospital emergency room, I cried for the first time since my husband died. Big, ugly, gasping sobs that made my whole body shake. A woman walking past stopped. Are you okay? I wanted to say yes, to pretend everything was fine. Instead, I said, my son is inside, and I just realized I don't know him anymore. She nodded slowly. I'm sorry. Me too. She walked away, and I sat there in the dark, wondering how I'd become this person, this mother who'd given everything and gotten nothing back. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Doctor's doing another ultrasound. Something's wrong with the measurements. Jennifer wants you here. Of course she did. I stood up, wiped my face, and walked back inside. Because that's what mothers do. We keep showing up, even when it destroys us. The ultrasound room was dark, except for the glow of the monitor. Jennifer lay on the examination table, her shirt pulled up, gel smeared across her stomach. Marcus stood beside her, holding her hand. The ultrasound technician, a young woman with a tight ponytail, moved the wand slowly, her eyes fixed on the screen. Nobody looked at me when I entered. There, the tech said, pointing. See? The measurements are consistent with 18 weeks, not 12. Marcus's grip on Jennifer's hand tightened. 18 weeks. You're sure? Positive. See the femur length? The head circumference? This baby is definitely further along than 12 weeks. Jennifer made a small sound. Not quite a sob, not quite a gasp. But I told you, she started. You lied, Marcus said flatly. The tech looked between them, uncomfortable. I'll give you some privacy. The doctor will be in shortly. She left quickly, probably grateful to escape whatever family drama was about to unfold. The door clicked shut. Silence, except for the hum of the ultrasound machine. I stayed by the door, watching, waiting. Marcus let go of Jennifer's hand, stepped back. 18 weeks, he repeated. 4.5 months. I know. Jennifer's voice was small. I'm sorry. When did you find out? March. Early March. I lost my job in April. I know. So you were already pregnant when I got laid off. He said it slowly, like he was doing math in his head. Working through a problem. You knew we were about to lose our income, and you didn't tell me you were pregnant. I was going to... When? I don't know. I was scared, okay? I didn't know how you'd react. How I'd react? His voice rose. How about congratulations? How about we'll figure it out? Instead, you let me spiral for months thinking we just had bad luck, when really... He stopped. His face changed. What? Jennifer asked. You got pregnant on purpose. That's not... Didn't you? He looked at her, really looked at her. We agreed to wait. We agreed we couldn't afford another baby. But you went off birth control anyway. Jennifer's silence was damning. I felt sick. Say something, Marcus demanded. I thought. Jennifer's voice cracked. I thought maybe a baby would fix things. We'd been fighting so much, and you were distant. And I thought, you thought trapping me would help? It's not trapping if we're already married. Then what do you call lying about it for 4 months? The monitor beside the bed beeped steadily, showing the baby's heartbeat. Strong, healthy, oblivious to the disaster unfolding around it. Marcus turned to me. Did you know? No. My voice came out hoarse. I didn't know any of it. She's lying, Jennifer said suddenly. She knew. She had to know. Excuse me? Jennifer sat up, wiping the gel off her stomach with shaking hands. You check your bank account obsessively, Mom. Don't pretend you didn't see the charges. You knew what we were spending. And you let us. Because you wanted us to owe you. That's not... Isn't it? Her eyes were hard now. Calculating. You've been alone since Dad died. No husband, no purpose. We gave you something to do, someone to take care of. You should be thanking us. The air left the room. Marcus stared at his wife like he'd never seen her before. Jennifer, he said slowly. What the hell is wrong with you? Nothing's wrong with me, I'm just being honest. She turned back to me. You loved playing the martyr, the generous mother-in-law, posting on Facebook about helping family in need. Everyone thought you were so wonderful. I never posted anything about the money. But you told people, your friends, your church group. I saw the way they looked at me at the grocery store. Poor Jennifer, can't even support her own kids. So lucky to have a mother-in-law willing to help. Nobody thought that. Everyone thought that. She was crying now, angry tears. Do you know what it's like, being pitied? Being the charity case? I hated it. I hated you for making me feel that way. So you stole from me? You gave us the card. For emergencies. And we had them. Jennifer swung her legs off the table, stood up despite the hospital gown. Every day was an emergency. Rent due, kids hungry, Marcus falling apart. I wasn't falling apart, Marcus said quietly. Yes, you were. Jennifer faced him. You stopped looking for jobs after the first month. You slept until noon. You forgot to pick up the kids from school twice. You were depressed, and I had to handle everything alone while pregnant and terrified and… So you spent $25,000? She flinched. Is that what we're at? You don't even know? Marcus's voice was ice. You handle the finances, but you don't know how much you've stolen? It's not stealing if… Stop saying that. He slammed his hand against the wall, making both of us jump. Stop lying. Stop justifying. Just for once, Jennifer, tell the goddamn truth. The door opened. A doctor entered, older, gray-haired, carrying a tablet. She took one look at our faces and stopped. Bad time? She asked. Perfect time, Marcus said. Tell us about the baby. The doctor glanced at her notes. Well, as the tech mentioned, you're 18 weeks along, not 12. But everything looks healthy. Strong heartbeat, good measurements, no concerns. And the cramping? Jennifer asked. Stress-related, most likely. I don't see any indicators of miscarriage risk. She looked between us. But I do recommend you avoid stressful situations. Arguments, emotional turmoil, these things can affect pregnancy. Hard to avoid when your wife's been lying for 4 months, Marcus said. The doctor's expression didn't change. She'd probably seen worse. I'll prescribe some light sedatives if the stress continues. For now, I'd recommend rest. Calm environment, support system. She left before anyone could respond. Jennifer sat back down on the table, looking small and defeated. I know I messed up, she said quietly. I know I did everything wrong, but I was trying to protect us, protect our family. By lying? Marcus asked. By doing what I had to do. She looked at me. You don't understand what it's like, Mom. You had a husband who loved you, who provided for you, who died and left you money to live on. You've never had to choose between feeding your kids and paying rent. You've never had to smile at the other moms at school while wearing clothes from Goodwill. You've never had to… I raised Marcus alone, I interrupted. My voice was steel. His father left when he was 6, walked out and never came back. I worked 3 jobs to keep us fed. I know exactly what it's like. Jennifer went quiet. The difference, I continued, is I didn't lie about it. I didn't steal. I didn't manipulate people into feeling sorry for me. I worked. I survived. And I taught my son to do the same. I looked at Marcus. Or at least, I thought I did. His face crumpled. Mom, do you know what that money was? I asked. The life insurance you've been spending? He shook his head. It was supposed to last me 20 years, maybe more if I was careful. It was my security, my safety net, the thing that would keep me from being homeless when I'm too old to work. You're not old. I'm 62, Marcus. I'm tired. My back hurts every morning. I can barely afford my blood pressure medication. And now I'm going to be making $500 monthly payments for the next 4 years because you and your wife decided your comfort was more important than my survival. Silence. Jennifer wouldn't look at me. Marcus was crying. I'm sorry, he whispered. God, Mom, I'm so sorry. I know you are. My voice softened despite myself, but sorry doesn't pay my bills. My phone buzzed. I pulled it out, expecting another fraud alert, another disaster. Instead, it was a notification from the storage facility Marcus and Jennifer rented. Wait, storage facility? Why do you have a storage unit? I asked. Jennifer's face went white. We don't, she started. Don't lie to me. I showed them the notification. I got added as an emergency contact when you used my credit card to pay for it. Why do you need storage? Marcus frowned. We don't have a storage unit. Yes, we do, Jennifer said quietly. Since when? Since March. The same month she found out she was pregnant. Marcus and I exchanged looks. What's in it? He asked his wife. Just stuff. Things we don't have room for. What things? It doesn't matter. Jennifer. His voice was dangerous. What's in the storage unit? She bit her lip, looked away. If I show you, she finally said, you'll never forgive me. The monitor beeped. The baby's heartbeat steady and strong, unaware that its parents' marriage was falling apart in real time. Marcus pulled out his phone. What's the address? Marcus, please. What is the address? Jennifer gave it to him, her voice shaking. He typed it into his Maps app. It's 20 minutes away. I can't leave, Jennifer said quickly. The doctor said I need to stay for observation. Then we'll go without you. Marcus looked at me. Mom, you coming? I should have said no, should have gone home, canceled the credit card and washed my hands of this whole mess. But I'd come this far. Let's go, I said. Jennifer grabbed Marcus's arm. Wait, please. If you go there, if you see what's inside. What? He demanded. What will I see? She looked up at him, tears streaming down her face. Everything I've been hiding, she whispered. Everything I never wanted you to know. The storage facility was one of those massive concrete buildings on the edge of town, the kind with rolling metal doors and fluorescent lights that buzz like angry insects. Marcus and I didn't speak during the drive. What was there to say? He parked near Unit 247, sat there for a moment, hands gripping the steering wheel. Maybe we shouldn't, he said quietly. We have to. What if it's worse than we think? I looked at him, my son, my baby boy, now a 41-year-old man who looked like he'd aged 10 years in one night. It can't get worse, I said. I was wrong. The access code was saved in Jennifer's phone. Marcus had memorized it from the hospital. 4 digits, 0315. March 15th, the day she found out she was pregnant. The lock clicked. Marcus grabbed the handle and pulled. The metal door rolled up with a screech that echoed through the empty facility. And there it was. Boxes. Dozens of them, stacked floor to ceiling, arranged with the kind of precision that suggested planning, organization, intent. Marcus stepped inside. I followed. The first box I opened had a designer label on the side, Nordstrom. Inside, clothes, still tagged, never worn. A silk blouse, $340. A cashmere sweater, $580. A leather jacket, $1,200. All in Jennifer's size. Jesus, Marcus breathed. He opened another box. Shoes, Christian Louboutin heels, red soles gleaming under the fluorescent lights. $800 a pair. 6 pairs. Another box. Handbags, Coach, Michael Kors. One Gucci that probably cost more than my car payment. She's been hoarding, I said numbly. All of it. She never used any of it. Why? Marcus looked around at the sea of boxes, his face gray. Why buy it if you're never going to use it? I didn't have an answer. We kept opening boxes. Jewelry, kitchen appliances still in packaging, a KitchenAid mixer, top of the line. Le Creuset cookware, things for a house they didn't have, a kitchen that was fantasy. And then Marcus found the box that didn't match the others. It was smaller, fireproof, tucked in the back corner behind a stack of clothing boxes. He pulled it out, tried the lock. We need a code, he said. I thought for a moment. Try 0315. Click. It opened. Inside, papers, documents, things Jennifer had been hiding. Marcus pulled out the first stack. His hands were shaking. Medical bills, he said, for fertility treatments. I moved closer. What? Reproductive endocrinologist, January through March last year. He flipped through them. $15,000 worth of treatments. Did insurance cover any of it? He found another document, shook his head. We didn't have insurance. She paid out of pocket. With what money? We both knew the answer. He kept digging, found more papers. A credit card statement, not mine, one I'd never seen. $23,000 limit, maxed out. When did she get this? Marcus whispered. I looked at the date. 2 years ago, before you got married. Another statement. Another card, also maxed. And another. 3 credit cards, all in Jennifer's name, all maxed out. Total debt, $67,000. She told me she had perfect credit, Marcus said. His voice was hollow. When we got engaged, she showed me her credit score, 780. I thought I thought we were starting from a good place. She lied, I said simply. He kept reading, his face getting paler with each page. Collection notices. For medical debt. From before we met. He looked up at me. She's been in debt this whole time, the entire marriage, and she never told me. There was more. A folder labeled Legal Documents. Inside, a prenuptial agreement. Marcus's hands shook as he opened it. We didn't sign a prenup. Read it, I said. He did, out loud, his voice breaking with each clause. In the event of divorce, Jennifer Hayes shall retain full custody of minor children, the marital home, and all furnishings, 50% of Marcus Hayes's retirement accounts, and monthly spousal support equal to. He stopped. Equal to what? I asked. 40% of my gross income. He looked at me. For 10 years. But you don't have income. I did when we got married. He kept reading. This is dated March, 2 weeks before she told me she was pregnant. March. Always March. The month everything changed. She was planning to leave you, I said slowly, understanding dawning. She got pregnant as insurance, to make sure she'd get the maximum payout. But we never signed this. Maybe she was waiting until you got a new job, until there was something worth taking. Marcus sat down hard on a box of shoes, his head in his hands. I don't understand, he said. Why marry me if she was planning to leave? I thought about the timeline, the lies, the careful construction of everything. Security, I said. You had a good job when you met, stable income. She probably thought she'd ride it out for a few years, have a couple kids, then take you for everything. But I lost my job. So she pivoted, went after me instead. Marcus looked up. His eyes were red. How did I not see this? How did I miss all of it? Because you loved her, I said gently. And love makes us stupid. He laughed bitterly. That's for damn sure. I kept searching the box, found more papers. Bank statements. For an account I didn't recognize. Marcus, look at this. He took them, scanned the numbers. This is a separate account. In Jennifer's name only. He flipped through pages. Regular deposits, $500 a month, for the last 2 years. From where? He found the source. His face went white. Venmo. From someone named Brad F. Brad Fit. The personal trainer she'd been paying $200 a week. Except she hadn't been paying him. He'd been paying her. Oh God, Marcus said. Oh God, no. I didn't want to say it. Didn't want to make it real. She's been having an affair. We don't know that. Marcus, I pointed to the statements. $500 a month for 2 years. That's $12,000. Why would a personal trainer give your wife $12,000? Maybe she was training him. Maybe she... Stop. My voice was firm. Stop making excuses for her. He crumpled, actually crumpled, folding in on himself like paper. The baby, he whispered. What if the baby isn't even mine? I didn't have an answer for that. We sat there in a storage unit full of lies, surrounded by boxes of things Jennifer had bought with my money, evidence of a life she'd been building in secret. A life that didn't include us. Marcus's phone rang. Jennifer's name flashed on the screen. He stared at it. Let it ring once, twice, 3 times. On the 4th ring, he answered. What? His voice was cold. I could hear Jennifer's voice, tinny through the speaker, frantic. Where are you? You've been gone for an hour. I'm worried. We're at the storage unit. Silence on the other end. Marcus. We found everything. His voice broke. The debt, the prenup, the bank statements. More silence. Let me explain. Is the baby mine? The question hung in the air like smoke. Of course it is, Jennifer said quickly. Too quickly. How can you even ask that? Because you've lied about everything else. Why should I believe you about this? I'm your wife. Are you? He stood up, pacing. Or are you a stranger who's been using me for 2 years? Using my mother? Using all of us? That's not fair. You want to talk about fair? His voice rose. You want to talk about fair when there's $67,000 in debt you never told me about? When you've been planning to divorce me since March? When you've been taking money from another man for 2 years? Brad is just a friend. Friends don't send $500 a month. He was helping me. With the debt. He knew I was struggling. Then why didn't you tell me? Marcus was shouting now. Why didn't you tell your husband that you were drowning, that you needed help? Instead, you lied and stole and… I was protecting you. From what? From knowing what a failure you married. The words echoed through the storage unit. Marcus stopped pacing, went very still. What did you say? He asked quietly. Jennifer was crying now. I could hear it through the phone. I'm a failure, she sobbed. I've always been a failure. Bad credit, bad choices, bad everything. And you were so good, Marcus, so stable and kind and good. I thought if I could just hide it long enough, I could fix it. Fix myself, become the wife you deserved. So you lied. So I survived. Her voice cracked. You don't know what it's like, growing up with nothing, watching your parents lose everything to my sister's gambling. Being the poor kid, the scholarship student, the charity case. I swore I'd never be that person again. So you became a thief instead. I became whatever I had to be. She was screaming now. And you were supposed to keep your job. You were supposed to keep providing. But you lost it, and suddenly I was drowning again, and I panicked. So you went after my mother. Silence. She had money, Jennifer said finally, quietly. And she loved you so much. I knew she'd help. You used her. I used everyone. Her voice was flat now, empty. That's what I do. That's all I've ever done. Marcus looked at me. His eyes were dead. We're done, he said into the phone. Marcus, please. I want a divorce. I want a paternity test. And I want you out of my house. It's my house. The lease is in my name. Then I'll leave. I'll go to my mother's. But I'm done, Jennifer. We're done. You can't leave me. I'm pregnant. Maybe. His voice was ice. Or maybe that's another lie. I don't know anymore. I don't know anything about you. He hung up, dropped the phone like it burned him. Then he turned to me, and I watched my son, my strong, capable son, break completely. Mom, he whispered, what do I do? I opened my arms. He fell into them, sobbing like the little boy he used to be. And I held him there in a storage unit full of lies, surrounded by the wreckage of his marriage, and wondered how we'd ever climb out of this hole. We'll figure it out, I said, even though I had no idea how. Together. Because that's what mothers do. We catch our children when they fall. Even when we're falling too. We drove back to the hospital in silence. Marcus's hands were white-knuckled on the steering wheel. His jaw clenched so tight I could hear his teeth grinding. I wanted to say something comforting, something wise and motherly. But what do you say when your son's entire life has imploded, when the woman he loved turned out to be a stranger? So I said nothing. We pulled into the hospital parking lot at 2:47 a.m. The ER entrance glowed like a beacon in the dark. I can't go back in there, Marcus said suddenly. I can't look at her. You have to. Why? He turned to me, eyes desperate. Why do I have to face her? Why can't I just leave? Because she's still your wife. And that's still possibly your baby. Possibly. He laughed bitterly. God, Mom, how did this become my life? Jennifer was sitting up in bed when we entered her room. She'd been crying. Her face was blotchy, mascara smeared. For once, she looked her age, looked human. Marcus, she started. Don't. He held up his hand. Just don't. Let me explain. Which part? His voice was dangerously calm. The debt? The affair? The plan to divorce me? Which lie do you want to explain first? It wasn't an affair. Jennifer's voice was small. Brad and I never were just friends. He helped me when I had nowhere else to turn. By giving you $12,000? By believing in me. She was crying again. He was the only person who knew about my past, about the debt, about everything. He didn't judge me. He just helped. How convenient. Marcus sat down in the visitor's chair, as far from the bed as possible. A male friend who gives you money and asks for nothing in return. That's totally normal. It is when he's gay. Silence. What? Marcus asked. Brad's gay, happily married to his husband for 5 years. Jennifer wiped her eyes. He was my co-worker before you and I met. Before I got fired for... She stopped. For what? I asked. She wouldn't look at me. For stealing, from the company credit card. Marcus's head dropped into his hands. Jesus Christ, Jennifer. I was desperate, she continued, her voice shaking. My sister's gambling debt, the loan sharks were threatening our parents. They showed up at their house, terrified my mom. I didn't know what else to do. So you stole from your employer. I was going to pay it back, I swear I was. But they caught me before I could, and they fired me, and then I couldn't pay it back because I had no income. How much? I asked. Jennifer looked at me, her face crumpled. 30,000. Marcus stood up, started pacing. 30,000, plus the $67,000 in credit cards, plus the $25,000 from my mother. And the storage unit fees, I added quietly. What are those, $300 a month? $450, Jennifer whispered. So we're at, what, $125,000? Marcus's voice rose with each word. You're $125,000 in debt, and you thought marrying me would fix it? I thought loving you would fix me, Jennifer shouted. I thought if I could just be normal, have a normal life, a normal family, everything else would fall into place. That's not how life works. I know that now. A nurse poked her head in. Folks, we need to keep the noise down. Other patients are trying to rest. Sorry, Jennifer said quickly, putting on her sweet voice. Family stress. We'll be quieter. The nurse left. And I saw it. The mask sliding back into place. The performance. Even now, even caught, Jennifer was playing a role. Stop it, I said. She looked at me. Stop what? The act. The poor helpless me routine. It doesn't work anymore. Her face hardened. I'm not acting. Yes, you are. You've been acting since the day you met Marcus, playing the perfect girlfriend, the perfect wife. But it's all fake, isn't it? You don't know me. I know enough. I moved closer to the bed. I know you've been lying and stealing and manipulating everyone around you. I know you got pregnant on purpose to trap my son. I know you've been planning your exit strategy since March. That's not. And I know, I continued, my voice steel, that you've been taking money from Brad to fund your little shopping addiction while pretending it was for your sister. Jennifer's eyes widened. How did you? The storage unit. We saw the bank statements. $500 a month from Brad. And did any of that money go to your sister? Or did it all go to Nordstrom and Tiffany? Silence. Marcus stopped pacing, stared at his wife. Tell me you sent at least some of it to your sister, he said. Tell me the loan sharks were real. Jennifer bit her lip. They were real, she said finally. At first, 2 years ago, but my parents paid them off, sold their house, moved to Arizona to start over. So the emergency was over. Yes. But you kept taking money from Brad. Yes. And spending it on yourself. Yes. She was crying now, ugly sobs. Yes, okay? I'm selfish and horrible, and I should have told you everything from the start, but I couldn't, because I knew you'd leave. I knew you'd see me for what I really am, and you'd run. You're right, Marcus said quietly. I would have. Jennifer's face crumpled. So what now? You divorce me? Leave me alone with a baby? We don't even know if it's my baby. It is. I swear to God, Marcus, it's yours. Prove it. How? The paternity test can't happen until after... No. Marcus's voice was cold. I mean, prove to me that you're capable of telling the truth about anything. Because right now, Jennifer, I don't believe a single word that comes out of your mouth. She flinched like he'd slapped her. What do you want from me? She whispered. Everything. He leaned against the wall, exhausted. I want to know everything. Every lie, every debt, every secret. No more surprises. No more one more thing I forgot to mention. Just the truth. All of it. Jennifer looked at me, then back at Marcus. If I tell you everything, she said slowly, you'll leave. I know you will. I'm leaving anyway. Then why should I tell you anything? Because, I said, if you don't, I'm pressing charges, for fraud, for theft, for whatever else I can make stick. Her face went white. You wouldn't. Try me. Jennifer was quiet for a long moment. Then she started talking. And what came out was worse than anything I'd imagined. The debt wasn't just credit cards and medical bills. She owed money to a private lender, one of those predatory companies that charges 30% interest. How much? Marcus asked. 40,000, and it's growing every month. For what? For, she took a shaky breath, for the down payment on our house. I blinked. What house? The rental. When we first moved in, the landlord wanted first, last, and security deposit. We didn't have it, so I borrowed from this company, told them I'd pay it back within a year. That was 2 years ago, Marcus said. I know. So you've been paying interest for 2 years, making minimum payments. I've been paying $800 a month just in interest. Marcus sat down hard. That's almost our rent. I know. Where did you get $800 a month? Jennifer wouldn't look at him. From you, from your paychecks. I told you our utilities were higher than they were, told you the kids' daycare increased their rates. Skimmed a little here, a little there. You've been stealing from me for 2 years. I've been trying to keep us afloat for 2 years. Her voice rose again. Do you think I wanted to lie? Do you think I enjoyed sneaking around, juggling payments, robbing Peter to pay Paul? I was drowning, Marcus, every day, drowning. And you had no idea because I made sure you didn't. You should have told me. You would have left. So what? Marcus exploded. You think this is better? You think lying and stealing and destroying my relationship with my mother is better than just being honest? Yes, Jennifer shouted. Yes, it's better. Because at least this way I had you. At least this way I wasn't alone. The room went silent. Even the monitors seemed to quiet. Jennifer covered her face with her hands, sobbing. I've always been alone, she said through her tears. My whole life, my parents were never there, too busy dealing with my sister's problems. My friends all left when I couldn't keep up with their lifestyle. Every boyfriend I ever had left when they saw the real me. And then I met you, Marcus, and you were so good, so kind, so stable. And I thought maybe, finally, I'd found someone who'd stay. So you lied to make me stay. So I became whoever I needed to be to make you stay. She looked up at him, mascara streaming down her face. I know it was wrong. I know I'm a terrible person, but I loved you. I really did. I still do. Marcus's face was unreadable. That's not love, Jennifer. That's desperation. Maybe they're the same thing. They're not. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Brad, Jennifer's friend. She gave me your number in case of emergency. Is she okay? She texted me 3 hours ago saying she was in the hospital and I haven't heard from her since. I showed Marcus the text. Call him, he said. Marcus, Jennifer started. Call him. His voice left no room for argument. I dialed. Brad answered on the first ring. Hello? Who is this? This is Marcus's mother, I said, putting it on speaker. We're at the hospital with Jennifer. Oh, thank God. Is she all right? Is the baby? The baby's fine. But we need to ask you some questions. Silence on the other end. Then, about the money. Yes. She told you then. He sighed. Look, I know how it looks, but I swear, there's nothing romantic between us. I'm married, I'm gay, and Jennifer is like a sister to me. Why give her $12,000? Marcus asked. Because she needed it. Brad's voice was gentle. When she got fired, she had nowhere to turn. Her family couldn't help, her credit was shot, and she was terrified. I'd just gotten a promotion. My husband and I had savings, so I offered to help. No strings attached. Did you know she was lying to her husband? I asked. Pause. Yes, Brad admitted. I told her she should come clean, multiple times, but she was convinced Marcus would leave if he knew about her past. Was she right? Marcus asked quietly. I don't know, man. Would you have? Marcus didn't answer. For what it's worth, Brad continued, she really does love you. Everything she did, the lying, the stealing, it all, came from a place of fear. Fear of losing you. Fear of being alone again. It doesn't make it right, but it makes it human. Human is owning up to your mistakes, I said, not covering them with more lies. You're right. Absolutely right. Brad paused. Do you want me to come to the hospital? I can be there in 30 minutes. I looked at Jennifer. She was staring at the phone like it was a lifeline. No, Marcus said. We're okay. But Brad? That money you gave her, did any of it go to her sister? Every penny of the first $7,000. The loan sharks were real. Her parents really did lose their house. After that, he trailed off. After that, I told her I couldn't give her any more, that she needed to tell you everything. She promised she would. She didn't. I know. I'm sorry. Marcus hung up. Jennifer was shaking. I was going to tell you. After the baby was born, once everything was stable, I was going to come clean about everything and hope I'd be too attached to leave, Marcus finished. She didn't deny it. He stood up, grabbed his jacket. Where are you going? Jennifer asked, panic in her voice. Home, to pack. I'm moving in with Mom. Marcus, please. We're done, Jennifer. You can have the house, the furniture, all of it. I just want out. What about the baby? We'll do a paternity test when it's born. If it's mine, we'll figure out custody. But you and me? We're over. Jennifer started sobbing. Huge, gasping sobs that made the monitors beep. A nurse rushed in. What's going on? My husband's leaving me, Jennifer cried. I'm pregnant and alone and he's leaving. Ma'am, you need to calm down. Your blood pressure is spiking. But Jennifer couldn't calm down. She was spiraling, hyperventilating, and suddenly the room was full of nurses and doctors and chaos. Marcus and I were ushered out into the hallway. We stood there, listening to Jennifer scream his name. Should we go back? I asked. No. His voice was hollow. She'll be fine. She's always fine. She's a survivor. Marcus. I need air, Mom. He walked toward the exit. I need to get away from her before I say something I can't take back. I followed him outside. The sun was starting to rise, pink and orange streaking across the sky. A new day, and my son's life was in pieces. What do I do now? He asked, his voice breaking. I didn't have an answer, so I just hugged him. And we stood there in the parking lot, two broken people trying to figure out how to move forward. When everything behind us was ash, we left the hospital without saying goodbye to Jennifer. Marcus drove us straight back to the storage facility. Neither of us had slept. Neither of us cared. We need to document everything, he said, pulling into the parking lot, before she has a chance to move it. Smart. Even heartbroken, my son was thinking clearly. We parked in the same spot as before. The sun was fully up now, harsh morning light making everything look cheap and tired. Marcus unlocked Unit 247 again. The boxes were exactly where we'd left them, waiting. Start taking pictures, he said, pulling out his phone. Every box, every label, every receipt. We worked in silence. Click. A box of designer shoes, tags still attached. $4,800 worth. Click. Kitchen appliances that would never see a kitchen. $3,200. Click. Jewelry boxes stacked like building blocks. I didn't even want to calculate that total. My phone battery died after 200 photos. Marcus kept going. An hour in, we found the second fireproof box. It was buried deeper than the first, hidden behind a wall of restoration hardware furniture, still in its original packaging. There's another one, Marcus said, pulling it out. This one had a combination lock. He tried Jennifer's birthday. Wrong. Their anniversary. Wrong. The kids' birthdays. Wrong. Try the date she found out she was pregnant, I suggested. 0315. Click. The box opened. Inside were things I never wanted to see. Photos. Printed photos, the old-fashioned kind. Jennifer, with a man who wasn't Marcus. At a restaurant, at a park, at what looked like a hotel room. Marcus's hands shook as he flipped through them. "These are from before we met," he said quietly. "Look at her hair. She wore it short back then." I looked closer. He was right. The photos were old, maybe 5-6 years ago. "Who is he?" I asked. Marcus turned one over. Someone had written on the back in Jennifer's handwriting, "David, my first investment." "Investment," Marcus repeated. She called him an investment. There were more photos, Jennifer with different men, always expensive restaurants, always dressed to impress. More notes on the backs. Robert, 2 months, $8,000. Michael, 6 weeks, $3,500. James, 3 months, $12,000. "Oh my God," I whispered. She was. What? Conning them? Marcus didn't answer. He was staring at one particular photo. Jennifer, younger, standing next to a man in his 60s, his arm around her waist, both of them smiling. The note on the back, Richard, the big one, 6 months, $45,000, worth every fake smile. "She's been doing this for years," Marcus said. His voice was dead. "Meeting men, dating them, getting money from them, moving on." "But you were different," I said. "You weren't wealthy." "I was stable," he laughed bitterly. "I had a steady job, good credit, a normal life. I was the long game. The one she'd marry and settle down with while she figured out her next move." He kept digging through the box. Bank statements, multiple accounts, all in Jennifer's name, showing deposits from different men over the years, withdrawals that matched the credit card charges we'd seen. A notebook, Jennifer's handwriting, neat and organized. Marcus opened it. It was a ledger, a detailed record of every man she'd dated, every dollar she'd extracted, every lie she'd told. Page after page of calculations, plans, strategies, and at the very end, a page titled, "Exit Strategy." Marcus read it aloud, his voice shaking. "Find stable husband, someone kind, trusting, with good credit. Marry within 2 years. Get pregnant immediately for insurance. Build relationship with his family, especially if mother is widowed or wealthy. Access to family money is crucial. Wait until 5-year mark for maximum divorce settlement. Leave with kids, house, and at least $100K in assets. Move to new city. Start over." He stopped reading. Looked at me. "I was a mark," he said. "This whole time, our entire marriage, I was just another mark." I wanted to tell him he was wrong, that Jennifer loved him, that the plan was old, that people change. But the evidence was right there, in black and white. Our entire relationship with Jennifer, mine and Marcus's, had been a con from day one. "The baby," Marcus said suddenly. "She got pregnant on purpose, to lock me in." The fertility treatments, I remembered, the $15,000 worth. She wanted to make sure it happened. And when I lost my job before the 5-year mark, she had to pivot. He was pacing now, connecting dots. "She couldn't leave me with nothing, so she went after you. Got the credit card, started spending, knowing I'd find out eventually, but hoping I'd feel guilty and give her more," I finished. "Exactly." He ran his hands through his hair. "And tonight the whole hospital drama that was to make us feel sorry for her again, to keep the money flowing. Do you think she was really having cramping?" Marcus looked at me. "I don't know, Mom. I don't know what's real anymore." His phone rang. Jennifer's name on the screen. He declined the call. It rang again immediately. Declined again. A text came through. "Please come back. The doctor says I can go home, but I need a ride." Marcus typed back, "Call an Uber." Jennifer, "I don't have money for an Uber. Please, Marcus. I'm sorry. I'll explain everything." Marcus, "You already did. I found the second box." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, "What second box?" Marcus took a photo of the open fireproof container. The photos, the ledger, the exit strategy page. Sent it. The dots appeared and disappeared for a full minute. Then, those are old. From before I met you. I'm different now. Marcus, you've been planning to leave me since we got married. Jennifer, I never went through with it. Doesn't that count for something? I stayed. I chose you. Marcus, you chose my mother's money. Jennifer, that's not fair. Marcus typed something, deleted it, typed again. Fair is you owning up to what you've done. Fair is you letting me go without a fight. Fair is you disappearing from my life and never contacting me again unless it's about the baby. Jennifer, I can't do that. I love you. Marcus, you don't know what love is. He blocked her number. We spent another hour cataloging everything in the storage unit. The total value of merchandise, approximately $47,000. All bought with my credit card. We should sell it, Marcus said. Use the money to pay you back. Can we do that? Legally? I don't know. Maybe. She bought it with your card without permission. That's fraud. But I gave her the card. For emergencies, not for hoarding designer goods. He pulled out his phone. I'm calling a lawyer. We need to know our options. While he made the call, I kept searching. Found another box, this one smaller, wrapped in tissue paper. Inside, baby clothes, tiny onesies and booties. All blue. A card tucked in with them. Jennifer's handwriting. For our son, because boys are worth more in court. I felt sick. She'd been planning this pregnancy down to the gender. Probably did IVF gender selection during those fertility treatments. A boy. Because boys meant higher child support, longer custody battles, more money. Everything, every single thing, had been calculated. Marcus finished his call. The lawyer says we have a case for fraud, he said. But it'll be expensive to pursue. Court fees, legal costs, might end up costing more than we'd recover. So we just let her get away with it? No, his jaw set. We document everything, take pictures, save receipts. And when she tries to take me for alimony and child support, we bury her with evidence that she's been defrauding both of us for years. Will that work? The lawyer says it'll help, especially if we can prove she married me under false pretenses. The prenup she drew up but never had me sign shows intent. The exit strategy shows premeditation. He looked around at the boxes. This storage unit is proof she's been living a double life. No judge will give her everything when we can prove she's a con artist. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I just felt tired. Tired and old and used. I want to go home, I said quietly. We locked up the storage unit. On the drive back to my house, Marcus said, I'm sorry, Mom. For what? For bringing her into your life, for letting her use you, for being too blind to see what she was. You loved her, I said. That's not something to apologize for. Even when that love cost you $25,000? Even then. We drove in silence for a while. Then Marcus asked, Do you think she ever really loved me? Even a little? I thought about the ledger, the exit strategy, the cold calculation of every move Jennifer had made. But I also thought about the way she'd looked at Marcus sometimes, the unguarded moments when she seemed genuinely happy. I think she loved the idea of you, I said finally, the stability you represented, the normal life you offered. But not me. Not actually me. No, I admitted. I don't think so. He nodded, like he'd already known but needed to hear it anyway. We pulled into my driveway just after noon. My little house looked exactly the same as when I'd left it yesterday, but everything felt different. I'm going to take a shower, Marcus said, then sleep for about 12 hours. Good idea. He headed inside. I started to follow, then stopped. Pulled out my phone. Unblocked Jennifer's number. She'd sent 43 messages. I scrolled through them. Apologies, justifications, threats, pleas. The last one, sent 10 minutes ago. I'm being discharged. I have nowhere to go. Please don't abandon me. I'm pregnant with your grandchild. I typed back. That baby might not be Marcus's. Until we know for sure, you're not family. Jennifer, I swear it's his. I swear. I'll take a paternity test right now if you want. Me. That's not possible until after the baby's born. Jennifer. Then what am I supposed to do for the next 4.5 months? Me. Figure it out. Like you've been figuring everything else out behind our backs. Jennifer. I'm sorry. I know I messed up. But please, I need help. I'm about to be evicted. I have no money, no family nearby. Me. You have Brad. Jennifer. Brad cut me off. He said he's done enabling me. Good for Brad. Jennifer. Please. I'm begging you, just until I get on my feet. I looked at my house. At Marcus's car in the driveway. At the life I'd built that Jennifer had nearly destroyed. Me? No. You made your choices. Now live with them. Jennifer. You're really going to let your pregnant daughter-in-law be homeless? Me. You're not my daughter-in-law anymore, and that baby might not be my grandchild, so yes, I'm really going to let you figure out your own mess. I blocked her number again. This time for good. Inside, I found Marcus standing in my kitchen, staring at the refrigerator. At a photo of the two of us from his wedding day. Both of us smiling, Jennifer between us in her white dress, looking radiant. Should I take this down? He asked. If you want to. He pulled the photo off the fridge, stared at it for a long moment. She looked so happy, he said. Was any of it real? Does it matter? Yeah, he said softly. It does. He tore the photo in half, threw Jennifer's side in the trash. Kept his half with me. That's what was real, he said. You and me. Everything else was theater. I hugged him. My son. My baby. The one real thing in a house of lies. We'll get through this, I promised. Will we? We have to. Because mothers don't have the luxury of giving up. Even when everything falls apart. We keep going. 3 days passed. 3 days of Marcus sleeping on my couch, barely eating, staring at his phone like it might explode. 3 days of me avoiding my bank account, afraid to see the damage in black and white. 3 days of neither of us talking about Jennifer. Until we couldn't avoid it anymore. The call came from Jennifer's landlord on Thursday morning. Marcus's phone rang at 8 a.m. He'd finally showered, gotten dressed. Small victories. Mr. Hayes? A gruff male voice. This is Carl Morrison. We need to talk about the property. Marcus put it on speaker. What about it? Your wife hasn't vacated yet. The new buyers are scheduled to close tomorrow, and she's refusing to leave. She's not my wife anymore. We're separated. That's between you two, but the lease has both your names on it, which means you're both liable if she doesn't leave by 5 p.m. today. Liable for what? Damages, holdover fees. Could be upwards of $10,000 if she forces the buyers to walk. Marcus's face went gray. I don't have $10,000. Then I suggest you get over here and handle your wife. Click. I can't, Marcus said immediately. I can't see her. I can't. Then I'll go, I heard myself say. Mom, no. Someone has to. I grabbed my purse. You said it yourself, you're still on the lease. If she costs you $10,000, you'll be paying that off for years. But you shouldn't have to. I'm already in this mess. Might as well see it through. Marcus looked at me with those tired eyes. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. The house was a 15-minute drive. I'd only been here a handful of times. Jennifer always preferred meeting at my place. Now I understood why. She didn't want me to see how she was really living. I parked in the driveway behind a U-Haul truck, half-packed, abandoned. The front door was unlocked. Jennifer? I called out. No answer. I stepped inside. The house was chaos. Boxes everywhere, half-filled, furniture pushed against walls, trash bags overflowing. But it wasn't the mess that struck me. It was the things. So many things. The living room looked like a furniture showroom. 3 different couches, all new, all expensive, 2 coffee tables, 5 lamps, decorative pillows stacked like a department store display. The kitchen. Every gadget imaginable. 2 KitchenAids in different colors. a Vitamix, an espresso machine still in its box, cabinets full of dishes, china, everyday sets, serving platters that had never seen food. All of it purchased with my credit card. "Jennifer?" I called again. A sound from upstairs. Crying. I climbed the steps slowly, my knees protesting. I found her in what must have been the nursery. She sat on the floor surrounded by baby items. Cribs, 2 of them, both assembled. A changing table, a glider chair. Boxes of clothes, blankets, toys. All blue, all for the son she'd planned. Jennifer looked up when I entered. Her face was swollen from crying, hair unwashed, still wearing the clothes from the hospital. "He sent you," she said. "Not a question." The landlord called. "You need to leave today." "I know." "Then why are you still here?" She gestured around the room. "Where do I take all of this?" "That's not my problem." "Isn't it?" She laughed, bitter and broken. "You paid for it. Technically, it's yours." She had a point. "The landlord said you have until 5 p.m. And then what? I'm homeless? Pregnant and homeless?" She pulled her knees to her chest. "Maybe that's what I deserve." I should have left right then. Should have walked away and let her figure it out. But something kept me rooted to that spot. Maybe it was the way she looked small and defeated, all the fight gone out of her. Maybe it was the boxes of baby clothes that would never be worn. Maybe it was just exhaustion. "Why did you do it?" I asked quietly. Jennifer looked up. "Do what?" "All of it. The lies, the stealing, the whole elaborate con." She was quiet for a long time. Then, because I didn't know how else to survive. "I grew up with nothing," Jennifer said. Her voice was flat, emotionless. "My parents were good people, kind people, but they had no money. My dad worked construction when he could find work. My mom cleaned houses. And my sister had a problem. The gambling, the drugs, the men. She was a disaster from the time she was 15, and my parents spent every penny trying to save her. Rehab, lawyers, bail money. There was nothing left for me." She picked at the carpet. "I wore the same 3 outfits all through high school, worked 2 jobs to buy my own prom dress, watched other girls get cars for their birthdays while I took the bus. And I swore I'd never be poor again." "So you started using men." "So I started being smart." Her eyes met mine, hard, defensive. "Those men in the photos? They were wealthy, married, most of them. Looking for a pretty young thing to make them feel alive. I gave them what they wanted, and they gave me what I needed. Fair trade." "That's not fair. That's exploitation." "They were exploiting me too, using my body, my youth, my desperation. I just figured out how to profit from it." I sat down on a box of baby blankets. My legs couldn't hold me anymore. "And Marcus?" Jennifer's face softened, just slightly. Marcus was different. He was kind, stable, normal. She wiped her eyes. "I met him at a coffee shop. He spilled his latte all over my laptop, apologized 100 times, insisted on buying me a new one, and I thought, this one could be different. But it wasn't." "No," she laughed sadly. "Because I'm not different. I'm still the scared little girl who wore the same clothes every day, still terrified of being poor, still convinced that the only way to survive is to take before someone takes from you." "So you took from Marcus, from me." "I took what I needed to feel safe." Her voice cracked. "And I know that makes me a terrible person. I know I destroyed your family, but I don't know how to be any other way." Silence filled the nursery. Outside, a car alarm went off. Someone shouted, normal life continuing while we sat in the wreckage. "You could have told us," I said finally. "About the debt, the past, all of it, we would have helped." "Would you?" Jennifer looked at me. Really looked at me. "If I'd shown up on your doorstep and said, 'Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm $67,000 in debt from conning rich men and stealing from my employer. But I really love your son,' would you have welcomed me?" "Would, if you have given me a chance." I wanted to say yes. But honestly, no, I admitted. Probably not. "Exactly." She stood up, wobbly on her feet. So I became who I needed to be, the perfect daughter-in-law, the loving wife. And somewhere along the way, I started to believe my own lie. What do you mean? I mean, I actually fell in love with him. Her voice broke. With Marcus, with the life we built, with the idea of being normal, and that terrified me more than anything. Why? Because I knew it wouldn't last. She touched her stomach. Nothing good ever lasts for girls like me. So I started planning my exit, making sure I'd be okay when it all fell apart. And then, she laughed bitterly. Then, I made it fall apart myself, self-fulfilling prophecy. My phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. Is she leaving? I looked at Jennifer, at the mess around her, at the baby items that represented a future that would never happen. You need to go, I said gently. I have nowhere to go. You have Brad. Brad blocked me. His husband made him. She wiped her nose. I don't have anyone. No friends, no family nearby. Just nothing. You did this to yourself. I know. She started crying again. I know, okay? I destroyed everything. I ruined my marriage. I lost the only family I've ever had. And for what? For stuff? For things I don't even need? She kicked a box of baby clothes. It toppled over, tiny blue onesies spilling across the floor. I don't even know if it's a boy, she sobbed. I lied about that too. I just said it was because I knew boys get more child support. But I don't actually know. I haven't had the anatomy scan yet. For all I know, it's a girl. Or twins. Or not even Marcus's baby at all. I went cold. What? Jennifer covered her face. There was one time. Last January. Marcus and I had a huge fight. He said he wasn't sure he wanted another baby. That we couldn't afford it. And I was so angry, so scared he'd leave, that I… You what? I went to a bar. Met a guy. We talked. We drank. She couldn't finish. You slept with someone else. Once. Just once. And I regretted it immediately. I came home, apologized to Marcus, we made up. And then a month later I found out I was pregnant and I convinced myself it had to be Marcus's, because I couldn't live with the alternative. My world tilted. So you don't know, I said slowly. You don't actually know if this baby is my grandchild. It probably is. The timing works better with Marcus. But you don't know. She shook her head, crying harder now. And suddenly, I was done. Done with the lies. Done with the manipulation. Done with this woman who'd taken everything from my family and still wanted more sympathy. You need to leave, I said. My voice was ice. Now. Please. Now. I stood up. Get your things, whatever you can fit in that U-Haul, and get out of this house before 5 p.m. or I will call the police myself. Where am I supposed to go? I don't care. Each word deliberate. Final. You destroyed my son. You stole my retirement savings. You lied about every single thing. And now you tell me you might be carrying another man's baby? I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. My voice broke. Sorry doesn't give me back the years I'll have to keep working. Sorry doesn't give Marcus back his trust. Sorry is just another word you use to manipulate people. Jennifer flinched like I'd hit her. You're right, she whispered. You're absolutely right. I'm poison. Everything I touch turns to ash. Marcus is better off without me. You're better off without me. Then leave. I will. She wiped her face, trying to compose herself. Just tell Marcus something for me? No. Please, just one thing. Against my better judgment. What? Tell him. She took a shaky breath. Tell him I loved him. However twisted and broken that love was, it was real. And I'm sorry I wasn't strong enough to love him the right way. I didn't respond. Just turned and walked out of that nursery. Down the stairs. Out the front door. Into the bright afternoon sun that felt too cheerful for the darkness I'd just left behind. Marcus was waiting on my porch when I got home. Well? He asked. She'll be out by 5 p.m. Did she say where she's going? No, and I didn't ask. He nodded. looked down at his hands. Mom, do you think I'm like her? What? Like Jennifer. A liar. A user. He looked up at me. I let her steal from you for months. I didn't ask questions, didn't want to see the truth. Doesn't that make me just as bad? I sat down beside him, took his hand. No, I said firmly. You're not like her. You were manipulated by someone who spent her whole life learning how to manipulate people. But I should have known. You loved her. Love makes us blind. I squeezed his hand. But you know what makes you different from Jennifer? What? You feel guilty. You want to make things right. She only cared about getting caught. He was quiet for a moment. Then, she told you something, didn't she? Something bad. It doesn't matter. Mom? I sighed. The baby might not be yours. She was with someone else last January. His face crumbled. Of course she was. Marcus. It's fine. He stood up. It's actually fine. Because now I don't have to wonder, don't have to hope. I can just let go. He walked inside, and I sat there on my porch, watching the sun set on the worst week of our lives, wondering how we'd ever learn to trust anyone again, when the person we'd trusted most had taught us that love was just another con.